Hey everyone, welcome to Frame and Flow. Today, we're diving into the basics of particles in Spline. If you're new to particles or want to add some life to your designs, this is the perfect tutorial for you. We'll start by covering all the essentials, and then we'll jump into a fun project where we'll make social media icons float around an iPhone. So let's get started and bring your 3D creations to life. To create a particle, go to your toolbar menu, click on the plus button, and choose Particle Emitter. In the Properties panel, you can control your particles. First, you have two colors for your particles that you can change to any color you want. In the coloring section, you can choose to blend your colors, which means it starts with color A and ends with color B, or you can select random, which creates particles randomly from color A and color B. Next, we have the size of the particles. You can increase or decrease the particle size from here. You also have a more advanced option to control the size of your particles at the start and end of their lifetime. Then we have the rotation, where you can change the rotation of your particles and you can adjust the start and end of the rotation as well. Next is the birth rate, which controls how many particles are created each second. If you increase this value, you'll see that the number of particles increases significantly. The lifetime setting determines how many seconds your particles will last before they disappear. Currently, it's set to 1 second, but you can adjust it up to 10 seconds. Then we have the alpha fade option, where you can choose from several different types that determine how your particles fade during their lifetime. The size fade out operates under the same principle as the alpha fade. You can also adjust the speed of your particles here, increasing or decreasing their movement speed. After that, we have the orientation of your particles. Right now, it's set to axis mode, but you can change it to surface mode, which is useful when you want to emit particles from an object based on its surface normal. You can override the direction of the particles from the direction setting. For example, changing the x value will direct the particles along the x-axis when they are born. In the image section, you can choose an image for your particles. Spline provides a few presets, but you can simply upload your own image to use as particles. We'll discuss this further when we talk about our finished project. Next, in the particle emitter section, you can change the shape of the emitter to several options, or choose a custom object to act as the emitter. For example, if we create a bunny from the toolbar menu, we can set it as our emitter. As you can see, our bunny is now acting as the emitter. You can also change the size of the emitter, making it bigger or smaller. Next, we have autoplay mode. If you leave it on yes, the particles will play instantly when you enter play mode. If you change it to no, the particles won't play until triggered by an event. For the emit time, you have three options. One time, where you can set the duration and it only plays once and stops. Next, we have the particle force settings. Here you can control the gravity force. For instance, if we increase the gravity to 50, you can see how it affects the speed of the particles. Setting it to -50 will make the particles fall downwards. For collision effects, you first need to create the particle force from the toolbar menu. We now have a force, and here you have three options, with the default one being collider. In the shape section, you can choose between two shapes. either a box or a sphere. You can also change its size. If we return to the particle emitter, you'll see that the particles react to the collider, getting pushed away when they hit it. We also have an elasticity setting. If we set it to 0, the particles stick to the collider, but increasing the elasticity causes them to bounce back upon collision. Next, we have the attractor. As the name suggests, the attractor will draw the particles toward itself. You can choose between an infinite range or set it so that particles are attracted only when they are within the shape of the collider. You can adjust the intensity of the attractor as well. Finally, we have the vortex. The particles inside the force area will rotate around the area center. Now let's delete the particle force and go back to our emitter to discuss the remaining sections. The particle noise section affects the way particles move, with 3 different noise types available: curl, simplex, and FBM. Increasing the scale of the noise influences the overall visual effect of the noise. The variation alters the diversity or randomness within the noise, allowing for different levels of complexity and irregularity. If we increase the speed, the effects of the noise become more visible. You can even adjust the seed for your noise, which provides a way to reproduce specific patterns by maintaining a consistent starting point. Next is the particle randomness, where you can randomize the scale, rotation, and mass of your particles. As you increase the scale, you'll see more variation in the sizes of the particles. You can do the same for rotation and mass. Increasing the mass will cause the particles to move with different speeds. Now, let's look at the finished project to discuss how the particles have been set up. Before we dive into the details, let's first preview the finished project. As you can see, the particles are moving around the iPhone slowly in various directions. Let's quit play mode and explore the scene. First, we need an object that acts as an emitter, so I created a rectangle that covers the outside of the iPhone. Then I created my first particle emitter and adjusted several settings. I uploaded a simple white PNG of the WhatsApp icon, then changed the color. After that, I reduced the birth rate to 5 and set the size to 30. Next, I set the gravity to 0, increased the scale of the particle noise, and added some variation. In the particle randomness settings, I set the scale to 1 for more random sizes of the WhatsApp icon. I also extended the lifetime of the particles to 10 seconds. After creating the first particle emitter, I duplicated it and created a second one, changing the icon to the Instagram logo for this emitter. I also changed the seed of the particle noise for different movement patterns. I repeated this process 2 more times to create a total of 4 emitters. I also created a particle collider to prevent the particles from passing through the front of the iPhone. The collider acts as a barrier, ensuring the particles don't penetrate into the iPhone. And basically, this is how I created the particles for this scene. I also added a bit of animation to the iPhone screen by uploading an image and changing its opacity. And then I created an event to animate the lock screen. Additionally, I used a couple of post-processing effects like bloom to enhance the visual interest of the scene. If you want to learn more about these effects, check out the tutorial on the PS5 controller, where you can learn more about using them. And that's the end of our tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this fun project. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment, and let us know your thoughts on future tutorials. Thank you very much, and take care.